Well, it's 9 o'clock. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock on the button. And any additions coming from administration first?
Good morning, Reeve and Council. A few additions to bring note and one deletion. First of all, the additions. Under item 4, CAO's report, under 4B, I will note for Council the resignation of Councillor Cody Brooks, of which you're all aware. And as a result of his resignation, item 4C will be an appointment of a council member to the Eagle Point Blue Rapids Parks Council. Item 4D will be appointment of council member to the Brazeau Foundation. Item 4E will be appointment of council member to the Subdivision Development Appeal Board. And item 4F will be the appointment of a council member to the Brazeau Drayton Valley Recreation Board. These are all appointments to replace those positions that Councillor Brooks had previously held. And as well, one deletion, if I may, under closed session, the legal matter. Unfortunately, I did not get the updated information I was looking for from our legal counsel, so I have nothing to report under that item at this time.
Anybody else? Glenn?
I'd like to add Cynthia Sidewalks to,
General matters?
12B, General Matters.
Cynthia Sidewalks?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sin City. The album is Sin City, is it, Glenn? Yeah. Is it? Dallas?
Just a question of clarification and one addition to the agenda, if I may. Under item 4C, appointment of council member to Eagle Point Blue Rapids Park Council. Council has already given me permission to be there. We appointed me as an alternate, so I think that may be addressed, but we can discuss that further if it's required.
We can talk about that.
Yep. And the other thing is if I could ask for an addition to general matters, and that would be 12C, fireworks bylaw.
Fireworks?
Yes, please. Nothing further. And with that, if there is nothing else, I'll move the adoption of the agenda as amended.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Cody? All right. I guess Cody's not here today. All right. We have the minutes of the council meeting of April 1st. No fooling. Pages 9 to 20. I just asked for your vote. All right. Cody, are you here for a while? Okay. We might have to vote on that. All right. You got a motion on the floor, the minutes, or did we vote on that already? Yeah, no motion yet. Need a motion on those. That's for the minutes of the council meeting, pages 9 to 20. Donna?
I move to approve the minutes for the Tuesday, April 1st council meeting.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. April 7th council budget meeting. Any comments? Need a motion then? Glenn?
I move to approve the minutes of the April 7th, 2025 council budget meeting.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Okay, follow-up action list. Ken, anything of particular to note?
Reeve, I'll take that one for Ken. A couple of items. First of all, at council's request, We did write and distribute a letter to the Prime Minister and Leader of the Opposition regarding the Canadian counter tariffs. That letter has been sent. And as well at Council's request, we've crafted a letter for Council's consideration this morning regarding the Provincial Priorities Act. That letter is in your package and will be discussed here shortly.
That's it? That's it. All righty, a motion to accept the CAO report with the follow-up action list? Anybody? Anthony?
I received the follow-up action list for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Okay, provincial priorities, pages 28. This is what you were talking about, Ken?
That's correct.
Go ahead, Anthony.
This is the letter that came out of a conversation we had last meeting, and at that meeting, or conversation, I feel I was trying to say, rather than writing a letter, because in my opinion, they just go to file 13, especially one that they're not likely feeling too generous or too agreeable to wanting to, to agree with us. I would suggest we were better off, and that's what I was trying to say last meeting, is that we get a meeting, get Brian to set up a meeting with the Premier. I think talking to her, if we're able to get, or to even to her and Minister McIver, I'm trying to remember the names, would be more effective than sending a letter. Sending a letter, in my opinion, get back a nothing letter and amounts to sending it into file 13. I would sooner see us putting the effort, if we really feel as strong as we seem to think this is a red tape, the opposite of red tape reduction. This is adding red tape. This is just her or the province feeling that they need to have involvement in our dealings with the feds. And if we're able to make deals with the feds, I don't think that should concern them. So to me, I think we should be saying that in person.
Okay, so we don't send the letter, we set up a meeting.
That's what I would say, and I tried to convey that message last time I felt.
So it's your fault, Rudy.
No, Art, the motion was made that I wasn't going to get that request last time, so I made them with it to write a letter and to discuss it again today.
Okay, either way works for me. Certainly in person is better if we can get it. That's the only thing, is whether or not we can get a meeting with them.
Well, we've got Brian, in my opinion, we've got Brian there. I think he's a pretty good resource. I think he can work that for us.
Okay. So then the motion should be is to not send the letter, rather try to find a way to get a meeting utilizing consultants or whatever to achieve that goal.
I'll make a motion, Mark.
Okay.
I move to direct administration to set up a meeting with the Premier and preferably, and/or the Minister of Municipal Affairs, Mr. Minister McIver, and talk about the Priorities Act, our concerns with the Priorities Act.
All right, discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. We've got a delegation at 10. Tax rate bylaw. For B, on the additions. There we go, thanks for that. Resignation of Councillor Cody Brooks.
Thank you, Reeve and Council. As indicated to you via email last week, on April 11th, I received and accepted the resignation of Councillor Brooks, and as per the Municipal Government Act, that resignation takes effect immediately. I just wanted to pass on to Council that in his letter of resignation, Councillor Brooks expressed his Great appreciation to his fellow councilors and county administration for their support of his efforts as an elected official, and most specifically, his appreciation to members of the public for giving him the opportunity to sit here and serve the county. So I wanted to pass that along to councilors.
Thanks. Well, it's a reflection back to you, Cody. It's, you've been a worthwhile person for this county, and you've contributed lots. So I'm trying to make you cry if I can here, okay? So, you know, I often say things like, you know, keep the bright hope of the future in view. We'll always be thinking of you. Okay. Yeah, I guess you could.
Is Ken?
Do you want a picture with us? That's maybe the real question. Huh? Okay. Is it still in the dart room? Is the other picture still in the dart room?
Still on the wall, I think.
All right. Well, thanks for your contribution, Cody. I mean that sincerely. So, it's not an easy task, as your fellow colleagues can certainly attest to. So it was a worthwhile thing. You were pretty young jumping into this, and I'm sure this has been an educational opportunity for the short term that you were here for. So, better luck in the future. See if you can find a different council. All right, we'll carry on then. You're welcome to come anytime you want. Next item, tax rate bylaw. What did I miss? Oh, yes, all of them. All right, so appointment to council to Eagle Point, Blue Rapids. Dallas, you made a comment that you're the alternate. Do we want to just confirm he's the actual attendee now? Anthony?
I would make a motion that if that's what we're needing.
Yeah, you should, because you're not going to be an alternate anymore. Go ahead, Anthony.
I move to, appo- I move to appoint Dallas Ekstrom to board member delegate for the Eagle Point Blue Rapids Parks Council.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Appointment of council members to Brazeau Seniors Foundation. Donna?
I would love to take that.
Okay. Anybody else?
My interest.
Okay, well, we've got Donna that was first to the thing. I mean, if we have to go through nominations, we will. But are you okay to let this one go, Anthony?
Yeah.
Kara?
Yeah, if she's okay, if everything's okay.
Pardon me?
I move to appoint Donna Wiltsey to the Brazeau Foundation.
Sounds like Marianne Faithful, broken English. All right, discussion. All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Subdivision and Development Appeal Board. Who's on MPC? Because it has to be somebody other than that. So, Dallas, are you on MPC? So then the only person is either Glenn or Donna. Do you need training for the appeal board?
I
Okay,
would be interested in that.
okay, Glenn? Discussion, all those in favor?
What happened?
Didn't we have a motion for Glenn? Okay, go ahead, Anthony.
I move to appoint Glenn Gunderson to the Subdivision Development Appeal Board.
Squeaky says yes to Glenn. All right. All those in favor? Carried unanimous. And then we need Recreation Board. Okay, anybody else interested? Kara, Dallas? Oh, okay. Donna?
I move to appoint Anthony Heinrich to the Brazeau Drayton Valley Rec Board.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous? All right. Now, what have I forgotten? Tax rate bylaw. Dallas, you put this on? Did I? Well, it's under finance. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here with the request for council decision with the 2025 tax rate bylaw, the 1206-25. The recommended action is that council give all three readings to bylaw 1206-25, 2025 tax rate bylaw. And the bylaw is attached on page 52 of the agenda.
Okay. We need a motion. Anthony?
I move first reading to bylaw 1206-25, tax rate bylaw.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous? You're asking for 3 readings,
Correct.
correct? Anybody want to get, Donna?
I move second reading to bylaw number 1206-25, property tax bylaw.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous? You need a motion to go to 3rd reading? Go ahead, Glenn.
I move to go to third reading for bylaw 1206-25.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous? And then finally, to give 3rd reading. Anthony?
I move third reading to bylaw 1206-25, tax rate bylaw.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous? Thanks. See how good
Thank
that worked?
Simple. Thanks.
Good morning, Council. On page 55 of your agenda, you'll find the bank reconciliation as of March 31st, 2025. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I would ask that Council receives for information.
Anybody want to receive the bank reconciliation for information? Donna?
I move to receive the bank reconciliation of March 31st, 2025 for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous? Planning and Development, no reports. Public Works, no reports. Fire Services, no reports. Ag Service Board, no reports. Community Services, no reports. General Matters, we've got Cynthia. Oh, no, we've got a schedule of fees bylaw. Dallas?
Yes, thank you, Reeve. Yeah, I'd just like us to spend a little bit of time on our schedule of fees bylaw. If we could, I think that we need to have some tools in place that more appropriately address or recognize the costs that the county, the resources that we put into this when there are FOIP requests. I have a very simple motion, and it is a request for information to bring back to another council meeting. So if I could make that motion, and you can give the discussion it deserves,
This
if
is
you wish to do that.
charging for FOIP requests?
Just for FOIP requests, yes.
Okay.
That's all right. So I would move that council direct administration to investigate what fees may be implemented or adjusted under FOIP legislation to recover costs associated with processing FOIP requests and report back to council with findings and recommendations.
Glenn, then Anthony?
My concern is that FOIP has now been gone. Brownlee said it was best. FOIP is no more. There is no more FOIP. Right now, we have the AIA, and the PPA. So the PPA focuses on the privacy protections, and the AIA focuses on the information, well, it'll be used to govern the access to information from public bodies. So we're dealing with the AIA. FOIP isn't a thing anymore, so we could probably just strike that right out of the schedule of fees. There is no more FOIP. It's not to be a term that's ever to be used again, so it's just redundant at this point. It needs to be now AIA. And from what I understand, the public will have, well, it'll almost be impossible for any public to get information from the county. It'll all be, the CEO will be the one that decides on what gets released. So FOIP is no more. The province did this without any talks to the Privacy Commissioner whatsoever, no consultation. But yeah, FOIP is no more. So we could just strike it right out of the bylaw, out of the schedule of fees.
Okay, we got Anthony, and then we got Kara.
And I'm not clear enough on how this new legislation will work and what authority is given to who, so I'm sort of not ready to comment on that. But I will comment on the fact that I don't feel that when we have said, and our mission statement says we're open and transparent, to increase these costs for individuals to ask for information is not showing the initiative that we are saying in our mission statement of being open and transparent. And my opinion is this is just not following what our guided principles are, what we've said all along. I just don't get it.
Thanks. Kara.
Thank you. My suggestion to council would be that maybe before we look at any changes, that we have staff to bring back some information on what the changes are and what they mean for us first, and then we can go from there. But I do agree with Len, that legislation no longer exists. It's been renamed and pulled completely, so. The FOIP doesn't, Freedom of Information Act does not exist anymore.
Good, I agree. May I?
Yeah, you want to just remove your item for discussion?
No, I don't. I used FOIP because it's an acronym that is currently in our bylaw. Our bylaw is active and there. So I understand what you mean, and I receive your point well. However, my request is for administration to do the work and bring back information. I'm not doing the research. I'm not making the recommendation. I'd prefer if administration did that work. That's why I crafted the motion in the way it is.
Okay, so there are some good points made on both sides of the issue here. There's not a motion on the floor, is there?
Yes.
Oh, you actually made a motion?
Yes. I
You did.
mentioned that. So Donna just asked me to read the motion again, if that, for
Sure.
clarification, is that all right? All right. So I move to direct administration to investigate what fees may be implemented or adjusted under FOIP legislation, which no longer exists, to recover costs associated with processing FOIP requests and report back to council with findings and recommendations. Because clearly, we pour a lot of resources into finding information upon request, and even if it is at the decision or the discretion of the CAO, we still invest a great deal into that research, and I think
This brings back memories, but we had quite a heated debate about the FOIP and whether we used to charge 25 cents a sheet of paper, even in the dark ages. That's what I'm referring to, my past experience. And we decided to make it free, Dallas. But if you want information, I guess that's what's on the floor right now.
yeah, so I'm just requesting that administration bring back recommendations,
If there should be anything.
if there should be anything.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Name?
Still on our bylaw,
Go ahead, Anthony.
I think if we're asking for that, it would be fair to suggest the FOIP or as it's newly now called, and I don't know what it is, but you just said AIA? Okay, so that's what we should be having in there. That's what we should be investigating. We shouldn't be investigating something that's extinct.
you have something to add to the conversation?
I do, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
Good morning, Reeve Council. I am the appointed FOIP delegate for Brazeau County. The province did introduce Bill 33 and 34 in November, and it is expected by late May or early June that they will implement the Protection of Privacy Act, which is PPA, and the Access to Information, which is ATI, and those are expected to be replacing the FOIP Act. We will have to update all of our bylaws, forms, policies, and templates that do refer to the FOIP Act. Once we know what the province is approving and implementing, we're expecting Service Alberta to provide a lot of information to municipalities, including templates for changing a lot of our forms and information. And I'd be more than happy to bring that information back to council so you're aware of that. And I'm expecting we'll probably have to provide some FOIP education to the new council after the election.
For having to make all these changes.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, I always believe that the people making the changes should be responsible for the costs that are incurred, because making all these changes isn't free. It's going to take a lot of work on you guys' part to update everything and
Yeah.
correct and recheck, and then there'll be problems and the odd hiccups here and there that we'll have to fix along the way. And
We are hoping that the province will bring forward quite a few templates that are easy for municipalities to implement, and that they will give sufficient time for municipalities to make the changes. So it's a guess right now what that would be, but we're really hoping that, and by we, I mean other FOIP coordinators, that we stay in contact together to have the information to the municipalities approved, and then hopefully we'll have the 3 to 4 month grace period to educate staff and the public on what the new changes are and get all of our documents up to date.
Okay, well, thanks for the contribution there. I think we have
You're
a
welcome.
motion on the floor, but there was a suggestion, maybe a friendly amendment to accept the change from FOIP to AIA. Anthony, is that what you were thinking?
Well, I think I need to have a question first.
Oh, go ahead.
From what you're saying then, that the new legislation still isn't in place?
That's
Like
correct.
Then if it isn't in place, then his motion would be more appropriate, but I thought the new legislation had already been,
It'll be here in a month. Do you want to put staff through all this work now, just so it can be changed in a month?
no, I'm gonna be voting against it anyway. My point is, I just thought the motion should be properly reflective of what the document is that we're having an issue with.
I'm thinking, I like what Glenn just said there. You know, it's a lot of work for
I
nothing.
didn't get permission to speak, but, yeah, I don't think we want to put staff, just give them a make-work project for the sake of giving them a make-work project that'll last a month. So let them, we'll continue on. For another month is going to be a big deal, and then, yeah, they can present with the new stuff.
So, in regards to the motion, well, I guess you can always vote to oppose it if you don't want to do anything right now. Donna?
I was just going to move to remove FOIP from the bylaws. But it's not. Okay, never mind.
I think the cart got before the horse. Or the- You might be ahead of the curve, Donna, trying to do something that, especially amongst this turmoil right now, that I don't want to have staff. Kara, you got your light on?
Hey, sign language. Actually, I got asked by Minister Schultz yesterday to do interpretive dance, but I declined. I don't think the cart's before the horse, because the legislation is going to change in a month. And I think what Dallas is asking for, please correct me if I'm wrong, you're just asking to look at maybe removing or making changes to the schedule of fees, but at the same time, we should be made aware of the changes that are coming, because they're coming. I don't think, and I'll put my RMA hat on right now, we haven't heard there's going to be no changes. It's going to go through ledge. It's going to be, we'll be shocked. There might be some minor editing, but there's been no intentions to make any changes to what's on the floor already at the ledge. So I actually think the motion's good. It's going to be, we'll be ready to move when the legislation changes. So let administration go back and report back to us what the changes are, and then we can probably, when we have that information, make a sound decision on what the schedule of fees looks like, if there's going to be fees or no fees.
Go ahead, Dallas.
Thank you.
That's it. Not gonna chew my cabbage twice.
Okay, that's very good. We'll all be speaking Bart Easy here pretty soon. All right, all those in favor? Those opposed? Dallas and Glenn. You know, just because I make a mistake doesn't mean you guys have to pick on me. All right, that was it for all the items. Thanks. Thanks for the contribution. We still haven't got time. All right, so we've got, Cynthia, who put that on? Go ahead, Glenn.
So I had a call yesterday from Donna Simmons. She lives at 4914 55th Avenue in Cynthia. We are trying to do something with the sidewalks. Public Works will be presenting in May for a solution that we're hoping to get one long culvert end in so we can just get rid of the ditch and take away that hazard. She has right now a resident in the house that is not able to really navigate that sidewalk at all. She has mobility issues. And it's a 30-inch sidewalk side to side, and it's got a 12-inch drop right at the ditch level there. So it's hazardous to anybody that might have vision impairment or mobility issues. Donna had suggested to Public Works that they just put up some plywood across the sidewalk. That, of course, would be a hazard. There could be other options. In my opinion, the easiest one would just be to go pick up the metal handrails, the aluminum handrails from Home Hardware, and hilt it into the sidewalks. You could do both sides pretty cheaply, and then if it's a hazard for people walking through Cynthia, I guess there's cases where things have been placed on the sidewalks and people have ran into them and there's been injuries. So a solution might just be to flag it off and put pylons around it. And this is just a temporary fix, but staff have been getting a lot of calls from Donna, and so this would be something. And Public Works has told me that they're really not able to do anything. This has to come through council or the CEO directly. So I'm bringing it to council for your guys' consideration. I'm going to ask Public Works to speak to it a little bit more because, they would have some more issues, including Colin. We would have to refer this to just for the liability aspect of it and see. So it might be something that just has to be referred back to administration, but I'm looking for some input from council, and then I'll make a motion.
You know, I've said this before, I'm an electrician and an instrument mechanic, but I don't fix the lights in here. I was hired as an electrician or as an elected official. And so I would prefer that any suggestions, changes, comes from Public Works, because what we say, we call them our experts, right? So you shouldn't be making a recommendation. It should be Public Works making a recommendation. So if that's what we're going to do. So I'm just trying to keep the horses going in the right direction here. You got some ideas for us? Or you need some time to come up with some ideas?
Morning. No,
Morning.
we can definitely, just need a CEO or council motion to proceed with anything, putting anything in a right-of-way. So we do have some real true examples in the past through Brazeau County where we have had barricades in the right-of-way, someone has hurt themselves on it, and then we have a liability issue. or get sued. So just to caution on that side of things when we are doing a temporary solution or putting something in a right-of-way. But yeah, if council wishes, we can definitely build something. May 6th, we'll be bringing forward the further solutions to the sidewalks and ditch in Cynthia. And pending a decision, we can, do those repairs and work this year in 2025.
Okay, so come May 1st, you may have some suggestions
May
for
6th,
us.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that suit you there, Glenn?
It suits me fine, but Donna, it doesn't suit her at all, unfortunately. So really, all I can do is I can make the motion, and if it fails, it fails. So I move to direct administration to install a barricade in the right-of-way at the site of 4914 55th Avenue, Cynthia, for the intended purpose to make crossing the sidewalk safer.
I'm not sure how that fits.
And
Like, we were just told that you can't do it, and now
Well-
you're making a motion to do something.
I do have another solution I haven't had a chance
Okay.
to speak on yet. So we can also ask for a risk assessment through our insurance provider too. So like I mentioned, that we did have some past incidents of items in the right-of-ways. Because the residents do put items like bridges in the right-of-ways, we ask them to remove them because of the liability concern there. So something like this, we could refer to finance through Cullen and ask for a risk assessment with our insurance provider. That might be an option.
For that than just making a motion for political reasons to fail, because that's what it is. You've been given advice saying not to do it, because there could be a hazard there for people. Why don't we get this risk assessment done, and then I could accept another motion at that time. I just don't think go ahead.
It'll be past May 6th, right? So what we could do is a friendly amendment made to make this, depending on the advice of the risk assessment. But yeah.
Yeah, that would be suitable. Donna, then Anthony?
I would like to make a friendly amendment to add pending a risk assessment. Does that work? Okay.
Anthony, is that the same thing you were gonna do?
I'm probably more inclined to suggest that seemingly we have a motion in place, and I was trying to find it, that said, that we're looking at a solution for a different solution than that was proposed already earlier. So I think with that motion that's already on the books, I think this one is not required and should be withdrawn.
It's just that it's added the risk analysis, which,
Not all in there. In my opinion, that can be taken care of through administrative direction. We don't need to have this type of motion at this time.
Glenn?
This is just trying to get something done quicker is all, because by the time that May comes and we decide to, if we do decide to remedy this situation, that's still to be decided. It's not going to get done in June or July. It could be September before a solution is fixed. So this is just an interim solution for one resident, just to help it out, right? Help the situation out for both Public Works and myself.
And there is a back alley, there is back access to all these residents too, and this has been on reports before to council, so they do have another access too. So there is no parking at the front where the sidewalks are, but they do have parking in the back, and they do have access there as well.
In the interim, they can park in the back. But I think having that risk analysis you raised was a good idea, because it takes the heat off of councils making a decision that could get us into hot water. Anthony?
But the main part of the motion was and is to make an exception for this person and put something temporary in place there. That sets precedence, and we're supposed to be here representing the greater interests of all of our residents in that area that have a similar interest. Now we're starting to pick and choose. This motion should not be there. If we want to do the risk assessment, make that separate, independent of this other part of the motion.
Kara, worldly wisdom.
Some days when I can talk. I agree separating the motions out would probably be the best foot forward. I'm not in all favor of putting anything in until we have that risk assessment done. And that is a phenomenal suggestion from staff, so thank you.
Somebody that's closer. I'm having a hard time.
It's okay. It's okay if you guys can be patient with me. I'm in favor of doing the risk assessment, not putting something in place at all until we have that risk assessment done.
Anthony?
I was just gonna offer what I thought I heard Kara say, but you already got it from her second time, so you don't need the third time.
Okay. So Glenn's got a motion on the floor. We could table it until after that's one option we could do, or remove the motion, get the risk assessment done, because it might be worthwhile anyway to have that done. Our insurance would do that risk assessment, would they? How does that sound for a solution?
Waiting for the mic. So I think the original motion is good with the friendly amendment, because all it says is for administration to do something pending approval on a risk assessment. So they're all able to go right now, get a risk assessment done, and if it's no good, they can't do it. If they have something that's feasible, then they can just go ahead and fix this, and potentially before May 6th. So I'm good with the original motion the way it stands. No, I did accept, oh, did I not? I definitely accept Donna's, or Councilor Wiltsey's friendly amendment for the risk assessment. So this project, depending on the outcome of that risk assessment.
Okay. Discussion, all those in favor? Oh, discussion? Donna or Donna? Tina?
Moved by Glenn Gunderson to direct administration to install a barricade in the right-of-way at 4914 55th Avenue in Cynthia for the intended purpose of making the sidewalk safer, pending a liability risk assessment.
Everybody comfortable with the motion? You know what you're voting on? All those in favor? Those opposed? Anthony and Dallas. So the risk assessment will be of value anyway.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the award for being Mr. Cranky today? All right, fireworks. Are we there already? We are.
All right, thank you, Reed. Okay, so we've had a couple of complaints about tannerite, actually more than a couple over the course of the last 3 years. And I've directed some residents in different directions, perhaps it may fit into the noise bylaw if it's, if it's impeding their enjoyment of their property or what have you. And I've also directed them into the fire permit to see how it fits here. But so I'm just looking at so it's in regards to tannerite specifically, a recreational explosive. And I'm just looking at the permit for fireworks. Now, the permit works pretty good when it comes to fireworks. And they have cited in this application explosive regulation 2013 SOR 2013-211, general requirements prohibiting and safety precautions. So under section 12, it says, the following explosives are, in the opinion of the minister, intrinsically unsafe and must not be acquired, possessed, used, or sold. Explosives containing chemicals that are not compatible with one another. So that fits into the regulation, and it's used as a resource in our permit. However, it's not ours. It's not part of our bylaw. So there's two parts to using this recreational explosive, and could fit under fireworks, the bylaw, or could fit into the permitting side of things, if council wishes to address the situation. Okay, so I'm just looking for clarification and perhaps some recommendations from administration. Again, I'm just requesting more information. So, that being said, I think we could be a little bit more, we could do some investigation and perhaps be a bit more specific with the use of tannerite. When Councillor Swap was here and we looked at that bylaw for fireworks, individuals were setting off some fireworks and it caused his horses to run into a fence and get hurt. So this is similar, and it can still have the same catastrophic result. So I'm just going to, what I hope to do is just to make a motion to ask administration to bring back more information and investigate if tannerite would fit into either our bylaw or into our recreational explosive permit under fireworks. So I'm not making a suggestion, I'm just asking for some direction.
You guys are all knows what he's talking about.
If that's
It's
all right.
explosive, it's pink or blue for babies, you know, they use it to blast off, but it's probably, I would say, 5 times louder than a shotgun.
It's very loud, and like our noise bylaw, like I said, maybe it would infringe on our noise bylaw. We could use that if somebody is using it inappropriately. In the middle of the night, obviously, if you hear an explosion, that is cause for concern, and that was one situation that I was made aware of, and I said, call the police. You know, that may be criminal, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, so I'll just read a motion, if that's okay, and I'm just
Sure.
asking for more direction. That's okay? And then there's motion discussion. Vote.
Yeah.
So the motion would be, and I'll make the motion, I move to direct administration to review the county's fireworks bylaw and permitting process to include tannerite under the scope of fireworks-related regulations and restrictions, and report back to council with recommendations.
Anthony?
So Dallas, can you tell me a little bit more about tannerite? Like, I'm assuming then it would be very similar to fireworks? Like, I don't know, this is something new to me, so I know you've talked about it, but I still don't know.
Well, it's a recreational explosive. I don't know how else to describe it. I think you can use it for, I think some people have used it to blow up beaver dams. I think it has been used in that way, effectively. But most people just use it for fun. It makes a big bang, blow stuff up, and it's a recreational explosive. I don't know how better to describe it, but it doesn't create fire. It's not a, how would you say it? It's not a fireworks. It's just makes a big bang and an explosion. So some people use it for fun. I'm not against that. I mean, I'm not against fireworks being used either. There's some regulation around that we provide, and that I'm perfectly fine with that. But I just want it used in a more, in a safer manner.
Okay, then maybe what I would ask that we also get administration to do is to make sure that it give us a clearer understanding of what it is, and second of all, I'm gonna call it's dangerous, like if it has any, like if you're using it for blowing up a beaver dam, perhaps it's more powerful is what I'm gonna say than what a fireworks is. So we should be knowing the implications of what we're looking at here.
When I look online, it says that tannerite is prohibited in fire protection areas without written permission from a forest officer, so we're not in the gun range wouldn't be in a fire protected area, would it, or is it? It's in the green zone, so they can't use it in the green zone. Not without, so if they do, they've gotten written permission. It's already in the Alberta laws that if you have written permission from a forest officer, you can use it
Yeah.
in the green zone then.
But in the green zone, half the municipality's white. Like, you just have to look at the map. You know, half
But
is
what
white.
areas I've not heard any tannerite blown up in my area. You know, just, it's not something that's common.
Well, I'm in your area, and
You're using it? Okay,
No,
I didn't know
I'm-
that.
I'm-
Well, invite me over next time you are.
No, I'm not using it, but there's people close by that have used it several times, so, for announcing their baby showers and things like that, you know. But, so I've had firsthand as a neighbor, listening to the explosions, and I don't have a problem with it, I just don't know enough about it myself, except it scared the hell out of me. I thought their house blew up. Donna?
Photographers use it a lot in their pictures. So I'm wondering if there's a certain amount, like so many grams doesn't make a loud bang, but more grams do. I don't know. It is, I know I have a brother that does pumpkin smashing with tannerite after Halloween. But I don't know if that could be a thing, like up to so many grams. I don't know anything about it, but.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so that is my request, just to turn it over to administration and bring us some recommendations.
Be killed by a pumpkin.
Information and recommendations. Okay, yeah, so the motion was direct administration to review the county's fireworks bylaw and permitting process to include tannerite under the scope of fireworks-related regulations and restrictions, and report back to council with recommendations.
Discussion? All those in favor? It's carried unanimous. Good debate, you guys. I learned something. We are done all of the additions. Fire Services Grant, page 56. Anybody? Anthony?
Received a letter from Minister MacGyver for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. And we've got one from the school division. Funding for equine therapy. This is a group that came in here, wasn't it, initially? Donna?
So if I just approve these for information, does that mean they go through? What? Well,
You gotta just make a motion for,
it's not requesting, oh, just a minute.
Anthony?
Does any of the administration remember what we contributed last time? I believe last year we did contribute something.
Well, it's an agricultural-related issue. Good for the kids. Glenn and then Donna?
So this has been the long ways to get here. There wasn't a request. There was an information session brought to council. They weren't asking for information. They were just telling us what they were doing, where they were taking at-risk kids and allowing them to be around horses. And Councilor Wiltsey said that Wetaskiwin, I believe, was actually paying for some of the students to come to Brazeau County to participate in that program. And she thought it would be a good idea if Brazeau County did the same. So we asked them about it, and they said the best way to do it would be to go to the school board. So we had to
Can you do
wait.
2 jobs? I just gotta go to the washroom.
So yes, we had to wait until the next joint council meeting, or with the town and the school board, to inform them of our wishes that we wanted to contribute to this. And the result of that is this letter. It's a formal request. It was something we can work off of now to support this program. Are you going to motion, or do you want me to? We have to move it now. This is our time to move it. Did you want to do it, Donna?
to Lee, perhaps Lee is in here now. Do you remember, Lee, what the presentation was about last time when it was before us and what our actions may have been?
As far as I know, this is the first time this has ever come. We've never given to this program before. Is that what your question was earlier?
No, well, there were speakers in here. And
Yes.
they were speaking to this request. And at that time, I thought we gave some funding at that time.
No, we haven't given any funding, no.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying.
No worries. I move to approve the implementation of this program as stated in their letter from Wild Rose School Division. For a total of $3,120. $3,440. Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Actually, I looked at this before this came, and Fin 7 specifically says we don't give funding to educational, but I know council does have their own funding. And council can change Fin 7, but I'd just be leery of, going against policy. Yeah, so Fin 7 doesn't qualify for this. Yeah.
To be taken out of taxation. If there's any money left. So I'm wondering why there's two letters. The same. Mhm. Do we have to speak to both of them, or is one from Brazeau County and the other one from the town, or four?
Through the Deputy Reeve, it's my understanding that one of the letters is for high school students, and the other letter is representative of elementary school students.
Oh.
It's the same letter. It's the same letter. So it's identical, same letter. So I think it's just one request. So basically, to recap, remember that we had that presentation from the Equine Empowerment, and they showed us how they were taking kids from the school and that they were at-risk kids and making an improvement. We learned then at that time that Wetaskiwin was actually giving them money and sending students into Brazeau County for it, and we thought we would do the same, but we didn't know how at the time. So, and they said the best way to do it would be to contact Wild Rose School and have them make a formal request. So at the joint meeting that we had between the school board and the Brazeau County and the town, so this doesn't involve the town, but between that meeting, we did ask the school to send us a letter so we could at least have the option of participating in this program. And this is the letter that came. And Councilor Wiltsey basically has made a motion to say that she moved that Brazeau County support this program for $3,440, and it's with the money coming through from taxation. That's the motion on the table right now.
Thanks. Any other discussion? You want to talk yourself out of this?
No. I do remember thinking that HW pickup would benefit from this more, but obviously the school division thinks we should get them at a younger age, so I don't. Yeah, don't mess with what they're asking for.
Dallas?
Yeah, the program is fantastic. I can see the advantage to what they're trying to accomplish here. But education has its own metric. This is out of our lane. Why would we jump into that lane? Yeah, it's not our lane. We shouldn't be in there.
I just see a connection to agriculture. Anthony?
I agree with Dallas. I think we can connect everything to agriculture, just about everything we do. And this is one where you're stepping into an area that I feel is, starting to open the door for taking on school responsibilities. And if it's their initiatives, they should look for funding rather than coming to municipalities. Municipalities in the past have been seen as the banks for various projects, and it's starting to sound like we're getting that again, or maybe even some of us are encouraging it.
Donna?
Well, it really isn't the school division's ask, it was my ask. We just had to go around it this way in order for the funds to go to this particular program.
Len, what's your thoughts?
So this has a potential to actually help those kids that are at risk with mental health problems, with family issues. So, I mean, it's a small cost. Early on, you could actually improve the lives and the outcomes of some people in our community. And beyond that, the school board wasn't the one that asked. Like I said, this came from Brazeau County Council. This was our initiative. And the only way we could do it was to request Wild Rose to bring us a letter formally asking for it, because we couldn't just give the money, as we discussed earlier on. We wanted to have a formal letter so we knew what we were working with. So it was, this letter originated basically on our directive.
Dallas?
Yes, schools have psychologists and psychiatrists and all types of professionals to help students, and that is entirely within their purview, and that's a little bit, well, more than a little bit out of our lane. I'm happy to dig into my pocket, personally, but I can't dig into the taxpayer's pocket for it.
Anthony?
Yeah, Glenn just stated that, I mean, that, seemingly we're asking for them to have given us this invoice. That is what I just mentioned earlier, that some of us are feeling that we want to step beyond our lane, and that the fact that we are even asking for it suggests that some of us on council are asking for, at least in my opinion, for us to go beyond spending within our own lane.
Donna?
I remember asking, can we do this like we give to 4-H groups, or how do we go about this? And this is what we were told to do to get it into the school system, because we can't go and pick out these 6 kids. The school system knows which ones are hurting, which ones need this extra help. And they already send kids to this equine, but there's never enough. And we just thought, as, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say we, I just thought that any way we can help with some mental health work for children, I think we're doing a good thing. And I don't think people would think that this is a bad idea. Anything that goes towards children's mental health, I can't see them coming back at us for this.
Kara, any thoughts? So I don't see it as getting out of our lane, I see it as driving on the line. So,
Motion's been made.
a motion was made by Donna. All right. So like I said, I see this as driving down the line. Not changing lanes, because we talked about agriculture, and I see this connected to agriculture. I mean, we could direct it to go through Ag Service Board. let's nip it in the bud. We've spent this much money just about on time. All right, all those in favor? Those opposed? Anthony and Dallas. The motion is carried. Oh, yes. They're online, are they? Can you guys hear us out there?
You betcha.
You can. Good morning.
All right, so you guys take it away there. We can see and hear you clearly. So
Sure.
The floor is yours.
Sure. So I won't drain these slides. I'll just do a quick introduction of who we are, and then talk to you a little bit about why we're here talking to you. So we are from the Bears Paw First Nation. Both Mason and I work for the Bears Paw First Nation directly. We manage their telecommunications portfolio of companies. So the Bears Paw First Nation is between Calgary and Banff. In about 2013, it was a situation that was dire from an internet service perspective for our nation. We had about 1,200 homes that had no internet access at all. And none of the larger incumbents were willing to invest the monies to service the area just because the homes were so far apart and it didn't make business sense. So we started a company called Stony Nakota Telecom and built our own internet service company, which is now servicing all of the members of our nation. Because of the success of our own sort of on-nation company, we ended up expanding off reserve into other underserved and rural areas to provide internet access, and eventually in 2022 bought a company called Clearwave, which is in Edmonton and surrounding area to provide service in approximately 33 communities there. So we've built this sort of small telecommunications company that serves the rural Alberta marketplace, and are continuing to expand into new communities that don't have internet access today or that have very limited options for internet access today. So that's sort of a short of how we got into telecommunications and who we are. Why we're here today. So in October of last year, the federal government announced a call for applications for underserved areas in Alberta. And we took a look at all of the areas that were eligible for funding. We were on such a short timeline. The call for applications was a very short time frame. So we just, looked at the areas that made sense from us logistically and from a business perspective, and we put in a bunch of applications to see sort of, what we might be able to get. And one of the areas that we were successful in obtaining funding to build fiber into is Rocky Rapids. And so we are now, if you want to just go down the slide deck it's probably the third last slide. I'll stop you when you get there. This is background that can be read at another time if you guys are interested. And one more. There it is. Just a one up there. The one before this one. There we go. So we put in the application for Rocky Rapids. The eligible household count, according to federal data, was about 158 of the 251 homes in the area that were considered underserved, so that do not meet the universal service objective of 5010. This, of course, does not include satellite services. So we were able to obtain 75% funding for the total cost of building fiber into the area. So the total build cost we had estimated at $6.4 million, and the federal and provincial government have contributed or agreed to contribute $4.7 million, which leaves a shortfall of $1.7 million that is required from ourselves and other funding partners to complete the build and provide service to the entire area. Our intention would be to build to all 251 homes, not just the 158. So we would, like to build to every home, but that's going to cost a little bit over and above the 1.7. Although we go through a lot of areas that where we'd just be building to the individual premises that wanted service in that case. So that's sort of the long and short of why we're here today is just to introduce you to the opportunity. We need a number of things in order to proceed, and one of those things is definitely partnership from stakeholders. And the business case is challenged, even with the 25% funding requirement only. It's a long payback period. It's something that we likely won't do without additional funding. We've got we've got a number of areas that we can look to for potential funding. We're not coming to Brazeau County and saying, listen, we need all of this money or we're not doing it. But the more we can get from, spread out the monies that we're short, the better it'll be. And the better it looks too when there's partnership from stakeholders. So we're coming here today just to introduce you to the project, kind of lay it out all on the table, and then ask for support both from the perspective of, if we do this project, we want to make sure there's interest, first of all, from Rocky Rapids. We want to make sure that we're getting customers know that this is becoming available. We want to make sure we're building this with businesses and government organizations and other, other places we should be considering building fiber to along the way. And then, of course, there's permitting and all of that, which, it would be a big help to have support from the county for that too. So that's pretty much all I've got.
Well, thanks for that. What I can say is we've been lobbying for more than 2 decades to finish the last mile. And it seems like this is one more item that'll actually nip away at the deficit as far as infrastructure availability. So thank you for your interest, and I'll just turn it over to council if they got some questions. Kara?
I do. Can you hear me okay? I'm incredibly sick, but I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
I'm just getting over a cold too, and yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, so I apologize for the sound of my voice. I am the councillor that represents this area. So this is so exciting. I do know the challenges in this area, especially with this hamlet. And I know there's other services available, but they have failed miserably for whatever reason. I don't want to get into the details. So this is super exciting. I just want to go back to, you said $6.4 million total project, 4.7 from federal, and then the shortfall is the 1.7 million. Have you approached the province at all? Because I do know that there is some funding streams directly from the provincial government. And if you are falling short on that, that is something, I'm going to put another hat on. I'm also the president with the Rural Municipalities of Alberta. And I work quite closely with the ministers in charge of these types of fraud projects. So I'm not sure if you want to talk about if there's provincial funding in there or if there's that need, but I would definitely be really excited to help close that gap.
Yeah, so we did, so Universal Broadband Fund is 50% federal, 50% government of Alberta. That said, I know that there's other funding streams that may be available through the province too, which, we're open to having any and all conversations, and any type of support would be greatly appreciated in that. We are meeting with 2 other funding programs that are provincial based as well. One of them is related specifically to Indigenous economic development. We're 100% owned by a First Nation, so that gives us some access to potentially that kind of funding. And we're having a conversation with them actually later today. And then we're also speaking with Prairies Can. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
I'm very familiar with Prairies Can.
Yeah, we're hopeful that this it looks like these projects could be potentially eligible for that as well. We don't know how big the pot is or what the situation is there, but we're talking to both of them today to see if we can get some funds from either of those as well. But any help you could provide in contacts or conversations, I mean, we're open to it for sure.
Wonderful. I think depending on council's wishes as we follow through on this, if I get council's blessing or council blesses this project, then I can, I know you've emailed me, so I'll send you my contact information, and I will help any way that I can to try and open those doors and close this funding gap. I think 1.7, it doesn't scare me. I think we can do it. I think we can get the majority of it if we need to, if we just work together. And that we've got the support. The other interesting thing too, and I'm not sure if you're aware of, but there is several houses in that hamlet, I'm assuming you're aware of them, that they are Indigenous owned. And Indigenous families, so there's some housing, affordable housing options for Métis and Indigenous in this hamlet too as well. I don't know if you look a little surprised, so I didn't be able to leverage that too as well. So, and I know through our housing foundation, I can get you that information if that will help the cause and push this forward. So.
Definitely, that'll help with our conversations with Indigenous Services Canada, and in terms of our ask for funding, that could potentially be super helpful. So,
You talked a bit about on the way that you'd be able to provide that service. Is that something that if there was some businesses, I'm not sure, isn't there a line already to Rocky Rapids? Go ahead, Kara.
Yeah, so through the chair, the SuperNet line for this entire area actually runs right beside this hamlet. I don't know if Jen and Mason, you're aware of that, but I'm assuming you are, because the super box that actually feeds this community is actually in Rocky Rapids. So we've had this problem in the past when TELUS connected the town of Drayton Valley and a little bit of pockets on the outside. We call it the ring road out here. They were connected on the SuperNet. A few years ago, TELUS did that, but they refused to, when the line was open in the ditch on a range road, of course, obviously our residents seen it, and everybody knew what it was and wanted to connect. They wouldn't allow for that, so I can see that this is where we're gonna have to have a conversation. Maybe when you guys are out in the community, I can drive you out in that area and show you, when you open up that line, you're gonna have a few residences outside the hamlet asking to connect, but they're right there anyways. It would make perfect sense.
So I can speak to that a little bit right now. So we have actually, our current design runs right from the Brazeau County office, just outside Drayton Valley, to the hamlet. And we expand a little bit east and west of there and a little bit south of the hamlet as well. So just about everything between the county building and the hamlet we've currently designed for. So anybody along the route that we would be building, we fully intend to have the opportunity to hook them up.
I'm getting goosebumps. This is huge.
What's that? Sorry.
I said I'm getting goosebumps. This is huge. Sorry. I'm really not feeling good, but I'm very, very excited, and especially when we're talking about the kind of federal and provincial dollars, this is getting some community, our money back into our community so that we've got future economic growth. This is, once you've got fiber, I know there's a lot of talk around satellites and those kinds of things. Unfortunately or fortunately, they're still a little bit unreliable. If you've got fiber-fed businesses and homes, you are that much further ahead of other communities. So this is huge. Thank you.
Well, you're set up for the future with fiber, absolutely. There is, if I can take control, I can actually share a map of our current pre-design. If this will allow me to take it, I think it's just trying to. Okay, let me know if this comes up. Or if you're able to see this map.
Just while we're waiting, would it help, just because I know you've got several key meetings coming up, while we're waiting for this information to show up on the screen, would a letter of support help you guys at this stage?
Everything helps. We would absolutely take a letter of support and would appreciate it greatly. Like, especially as we're approaching other funding bodies, I think showing that we have strong community support and strong support from the county would be huge.
Okay, this looks like it's up now on the screen. If you'd be able to confirm that.
They texted they can see it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Maybe I've taken over the audio. Okay, so I've got the Brazeau County building here marked. So we're actually dealing with the SuperNet already on this project. They've identified that the best place for us to connect to them would be at Brazeau. So every green road that you see on this map is what is considered by ISED in Canada to be eligible for the funding, and red roads are ineligible. I am aware that it doesn't make sense, and it's, you know, why would these 4 homes be eligible and not these ones? We've had the argument with them. They've told us the timelines are too short to make the argument right now, so they're not going to budge on that. We have designed for all the ineligible homes along the road as well. I don't have a more detailed design than this right now. Our fiber vendors are working on it. But this is the area that we cover right now. So we go, see if my Google Earth will give me the range road here. It's not, but we are between the hamlet of Rocky Rapids and the Brazeau building. Now, I've shared this map with Rudy, and I would like to share it with you as well, because if the county is going to be able to support or help us find some funding partners to support this, and we can, you know, extend these roads out to really include all the rural homes in the area, and we're going to be able to have some financial support to do so. It's an overbuild on the project, but we'd love to do that. I would really not like to, you know, end it right here and not hook up the roads to the east when there's only another kilometer or 2. So this is something that Jen will be able to respond to you with when we get your email. But this is our current pre-design right now.
Thank you. That gives us a huge picture. This is so much more than Rocky Rapids. It's exciting. I think you take in at least 5 subdivisions now, and big subdivisions too that are in our area. So.
Well, and that's the goal, right? So the way these applications work, ISED sent out a map that had eligible and ineligible areas, and it was basically hexagons on Google Earth. And this was the only one in the area that was actually had enough eligible homes to be able to look at. And so we just included the entire hexagon. So if there's ways to extend a little bit more, and we can design those in too. We've also recently come into contact with some other fiber vendors who are a little more local, so we might be able to get a little bit better pricing too. So we're working on all fronts to find some funding and reduce the costs.
Kara?
Nothing, I'm super excited.
So if I lived in that area, what would my connection fee be? Like, what would it cost me as an applicant to get high-speed internet to my home? I don't live in that area, but I'm just wondering.
Right. So packages are kind of being moved around right now, but the initial application was $99 a month for a 50 and 10 service, the basic service. That's probably going to end up being $90 a month. And then we go up to a 200 or 250 megabit per second service at about $129. So that's meant to be, you know, $20 cheaper than Starlink and quite a bit faster. And then our top package is going to range out at about a gigabit per second, which will be probably around $159 a month. And these are all, so these are fluid in the sense that we built these packages with Bears Paw First Nation funding these projects in mind. If the county is contributing, and this is to support your direct residents, then of course we can come up with some kind of agreement where, you know, the county's inputting a certain amount and we're able to reduce our package cost by a certain amount. As for installation costs, we're hoping to not have one, but $150 is kind of where it sits in the business case right now for installation.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm paying for my Starlink, because that's the only value that I can get out there where I live. But it's probably $130 a month, I would think. 170? Oh, okay,
Yeah, I think they go between 140 and 170.
okay. Go ahead, Kara.
I have the TELUS hub and it sucks, and I pay $130 a month for it.
Yeah, so we're looking to beat all competitors, but also be faster. I mean, and with the fiber, you can build that into a business case a little easier because you know there's not going to be any new technology to compete with that really for quite some time.
I think it's important too that we offer budget-friendly packages. You know, at Clearwave, we have a seniors package, for example, that you know is for people that are on retirement incomes and things. You know, it's a basic service where you don't need, you know, a lot of bandwidth, but it's affordable. So I think it's important that you have packages like that too, and we'll have something like that as well here.
Great presentation, thank you. Thanks for taking the time. I don't know if there's any more questions here, but Kara said that we'll put on the agenda a letter of support for your group. You might want to send us what you need to have in that letter. And then just keep us informed on what the next steps are going to be.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for the time today.
Thanks, take the rest of the day off.
We have to go ask for money now, so yeah, that's what we're doing with the rest of our day. So hopefully we're successful and that it helps this project forward.
Okay. Oh, Kara, you got something else?
Yeah, I just wanted, before we wrap up, if there's any way that we can help or anything that you need from us, just let us know. And I'm super excited, and I'll email you guys my contact information. I just asked Rudy, our CAO, you guys are in the Calgary area, and I commute there quite a bit, so maybe we can have a lunch or something and meet one-on-one. Or next time you're out in this area, just let us know, and we can make sure that we meet up with you. And I know how this stuff works, and I think that 1.7 million is something is achievable and attainable, especially if we work together on this.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually happy to come out to the area. I'm out west of Calgary every day, but I'm also up in the Bighorn Reserve west of Nordegg and sometimes in Edmonton. So I'm kind of across southern and central Alberta quite often. So I would actually like to take a bit of a look around the community. So we'll respond to your email with that request.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
All right, so we have to get council support for this too. We haven't talked about that. We've assumed it, and that's not a good thing to do. But it's adding value to the county as a whole. We can never do everything for everybody at the same time. So if we eat the elephant one bite at a time, that slowly gets us closer and closer to having a community that's well-serviced with internet. Kara?
And the way these projects roll out, Alberta honestly is slow across the country to gain momentum on these types of projects. The money is there, and it's been promised by the feds, and I deal with this, and I know I talk to my counterparts from the municipal level across the province. Once you get one project in your area, something like this, it snowballs. And then they're able to expand further and further out from it. So I would be interested to know if this type of technology has been run to Ochise and Sunchild, and if we could run it up Sunchild Road into Lodgepole too as well. So that maybe in the next steps. But that's these projects, once they start, they snowball. So.
Well, Ralph Klein, you would have remembered that he talked about ensuring that rural Alberta got the last mile done in his term. It never happened.
No.
But it's been lobbied for over 20 years for increasing the high-speed internet. All right, what's you guys' thoughts there? Because Mrs. Excited, we know how she feels.
Sorry. I mean, all my energy for being sick is kind of like, yeah, my brain's going in a mild.
We've talked a lot, Kara. I want to let the other folks have a chance to to say something. Donna?
At this time, it's just a letter of support. I do have a question. I didn't know that we had Indigenous housing. I thought we had low income.
What's that? 2 houses?
I did not know that.
Glenn?
It's embarrassing.
Aren't those houses owned by the O'Chiefs, I want to say too? I thought that, I was told that they owned homes and... Okay. Yeah, I'm supportive of this. I think this is part of what we're supposed to be doing. As a partner, though, it'd be nice to see if there's any potential for us to participate in the profits from this venture too, to help pay for the $1.7 million. But I do think that there's a case to be made for investing this.
Well, they've got a case made based on their funding packages, right? That they said they could be 159 for a certain speed, 129. So that's how they fund their operation. But what we need to do is get grants for the other 1.7. You know, sometimes if you take money just for one area, and I shouldn't be even saying that, so I'll stop. Because I want this to be positive. What's that? Get a letter? Okay. So you'll have to contact them like I asked them what they needed. We should have a motion to send a letter of support to this group. Kara?
I'm just looking up. I move to direct administration to draft a letter of support to the Stoney and Nakota Telecom Fiber Optic Project for Brazeau County area.
Okay, and with that, you've got the leeway to contact them to see what they want in the letter, what would be an effective letter for them. All right, all those in favor? Carried unanimous? Huh? Yes, I had to do an emergency break there. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. We got Glenn, we're okay. Okay, I'll call the meeting back to order. Call the meeting back to order. Okay, so I think we are on just reports. Just a motion to accept all the reports for information. Do we have to give reports on this list? I can never tell the difference. Okay, well, we'll go to Dallas Extra first.
Right, Dallas Extra will be first. No meeting, no report.
Donna Welcy.
West Central Airshed, no meeting. Drayton Valley FCSS, I sent you guys a page. Eleanor Pickup Arts Center, Rum Ragged musical sold out. Valley Voices sold out. Drayton Valley has signed the same motion that we made to let them go ahead and go find money for the expansion. Drayton Valley District Community Learning Association meeting is not till May 5th. Early Childhood Development, no meeting.
Well, that's quite a list. Brazeau Foundation, Cody is not there. Cody is not there.
We sent
Oh, okay. All right, so those reports are there. Glenn? Pardon me?
Just before you move on, the next meeting is April 17th. Who took that committee?
Recreation, when is it, April what?
17.
Who took Brazeau Seniors Foundation?
Oh, Brazeau, sorry.
It appears, according to past Councillor Brooks's comments, April 17th, 9:30 to 3. Okay.
Okay, when is the recreation one?
Kara, do you know when the recreation meets next?
Tina will send you the stuff, so you got the information.
May 13th.
Okay, Glenn, Yellowhead Regional.
So my report is in the binder. The only one that didn't get was, because you weren't at the last TIA, Technology Innovation Investment Attraction Committee, I will go through that. I got to chair that one. So we had an online delegation from E3 Lithium. This is a Canadian lithium brine developer that is planning to mine 32,000 tons of lithium hydroxide in 2027. Lithium looks a lot like salt, but it's soft. It's a very soft alkali metal that is used to make batteries in cars. They told us about their process, which is using a closed loop system that extracts produced water salt containing 75 to 80 parts per million of lithium from deep wells, then using a system similar to a water softening system to extract the material, and after running it through an evaporator to refine and collect the lithium. All of this has to be done in a facility the size of a quarter section, so it's a big building, big facility. To build the facility would require about 1,000 workers in 2 years. The company has identified the Garrington District and the Leduc Aquifer as lithium-rich deposits. They've looked through Brazeau County, all of the county, but haven't found any water that's suitable. So there's no known lithium deposits in the county, and we also heard that from the AUB. And the only way to check for lithium in our county at this point would be wildcat drilling, which would just be so expensive it wouldn't be economically feasible.
AER, though, they said that they're still in the research stage for Brazeau County.
Yeah, but they said that there isn't any, but there's a potential, I mean, if
Okay.
it does come. The good news from this company, well, they figured there'll be a big trickle-down effect. So most of the drilling is going to be done in Leduc County. It's going to need a lot of services. So that's kind of where our citizens would benefit from that. There's going to be a lot of, all the wells have to be brand new. So 3 wells for a pad, and they'll need pipelines and facility. And there will be a lot of royalties collected from this, and that'll help all of Albertans. So with EDA, staff put together a panel presentation for the Reeve. He was sick, so I went and did that at EDA. It went okay. The county was also successful in getting a DFPP grant for the Hilltop Estates, and you've seen the Reeve was on TV to announce that one with the Honorable Rebecca Schultz. The county also received an NRAD grant, and in that it'll be announced all in good time regarding what that is. It's a fair bit of money.
Emerald Grant?
NRED, Northern Regional Economic Development Grant. The CEO also informed us that the county has been told by Invest Alberta that a biofuel company has kind of put us on the short list here. We don't know who, but the project is codenamed Atom. So we've been hitting a lot of targets in this committee, and our consultant Brian Senio with Canadian Strategy Group, he stated we're batting 1,000. We're doing very well in this committee. I've truly appreciated the combined team efforts of staff, the CEO, and Mr. Senio to help the committee and Brazeau County achieve these successes. The next TIIAC meeting is going to be on April 16th, which is tomorrow at 9:00 a.m.
Thanks, Glenn. Yeah,
Councillor Gunderson was being humble when he said his presentation and being a panelist at the EDA conference was okay. He did a phenomenal job. It was excellent.
good.
So, thank you. And the CAO is echoing that he did a fantastic job. Great job representing our county, and it was nice because a lot of the presentations there, or some of them, tend to be pretty high level, and it was nice to hear local successes and hone in on a municipality. So this conference is always great to attend, and I'm noticing each year they're starting to put more and more local and using municipalities like ours for examples. So I think that's phenomenal. I think there's a lot more to be gained from that than being talked at for 2 days. So it's great.
Good. Good job, Glenn. Go ahead, Donna.
I cannot make the next meeting for the Brazeau Foundation. I'll be in Saskatchewan. So
Okay.
do I just send them a message?
Dallas can go?
I don't think you can go as a delegate, that's, or an alternate, because it's a separate, it's not like our.
Yeah, I understand that, it's a requisitioning body, but it's still, we appoint
From what I
people.
understand, past Councillor Brooks is going to attend just to carry the torch until
Oh.
he can transition. Is that correct?
I'm just cautious putting an unelected official in a position, because now he's an unelected person.
It's a public, he can go on his own.
Oh, yes, on his own free will, yes.
If we do send somebody other than Councillor Wiltsey, they would be going as an observer and would not be able to vote. I would. No, that doesn't. I can't, so how about we ask this question? Is there stuff on the agenda? I'll take a nod this way or this way from the audience. Is there stuff that we should be voting on that day? Yes. Is it instrumental? Okay. Okay, so it would be advantageous for us to even send an observer. Okay, that's a head wobble, yes, to send an observer. Tell us, are you available that day?
Well, you can't delegate your authority.
Yes, you can, as an observer, because we'll be able to.
No, you,
Board to somebody else.
So what I'm saying, Art, is somebody can go, sit and listen and bring back the information. They don't need to vote. And it sounds like there, and we can, the county can pay for it rather than the Brazeau
You're treading
Foundation.
on very thin ice there. You're authorizing somebody that's not elected. I know it's just out of
No,
us. Oh, one
Art,
of
we're
us,
gonna
okay.
send somebody from council,
Okay,
sitting council.
all right, then I agree, it's fine.
Okay. I don't know who can go. It's, April 17th, 9 to 3. It's a full day meeting, and there's a pile of information coming about the new building that they're building. Somebody needs to be there to observe and make
Look
sure that's.
after the county's interests.
I have a library board meeting. I can't go, Anthony.
In Dallas, did you say you can't go, or you
Anthony
can
could go.
Okay,
Dallas,
then we gotta make a motion.
I move to authorize Dallas Ekstrom, Counselor Ekstrom, to observe the next Brazeau Seniors Foundation Board and to be paid for by the county.
Discussion, all those in favor? You get to vote now. Where'd we leave off? Glenn, you finished all yours? Anthony, you got 3?
Ag Service Board meetings tomorrow. Municipal Planning Commission, we had 3 applications, one of them a multi-lot subdivision. And Permanent Synergy meeting, don't think there was a meeting. At least I don't remember right now.
Okay, Kara?
Sorry, just building on that, because I am next anyways. There was a multi-part parcel subdivision approved, and it's part of the River Ravine area, so another 8 parcels are out, and hopefully we'll get some more growth in that area, so that was exciting to see. I have a meeting actually tonight at 7 o'clock. This group is in a kind of a restructuring moment right now, so they're still struggling. If you know anybody that's interested in healthcare and trying to improve it in our community, I know there's a lot of talk. I will ask people to put their money where their mouth is, and this committee is in dire need of volunteers from the community to help out and get involved. We did get a letter back from one of the clinics about how we can help them moving forward, so that's up for discussion tonight. And it's actually quite exciting. Dr. Giddy from Shell Clinic gave us some really good items that we can help them and move forward on that. But I'm going to tell you, this one's frustrating. There's a lot of talk in the community, but nobody's stepping up to the plate to help, so. A group of 5 of us can only do so much, so.
Yeah, and it's always the same people
It is.
on different committees.
anybody get a hold of you if they wanted to, or like,
They can get in touch with me, but Amila Gamana is the president.
Okay.
And if they get a hold of me, and I will pass them along to Amila, or you can just, if you've got Amila's contact information, just directly to them, but I can help out with that.
okay, thanks.
It's a frustrating committee, especially for volunteers. It's just the pace that everything moves at. So it's, we burn out volunteers, and the other thing is just the slowness of, as things are moving forward. It is frustrating that way, but we do have some longstanding members still there, but they're starting to get tired too, and they're aging as well, so.
All right. So you already given the information on the technology committee, Glenn, right? On Alice, I didn't attend, I was quite ill there, and yesterday I had some personal stuff to do, so I couldn't make it to the Warburg seat cleaning. So, and then technology, we've got a meeting tomorrow, as you mentioned there, Glenn. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say. Okay. Meeting dates. Brazeau County Joint. Go ahead, Anthony.
I move to receive the council reports for information.
Discussion. All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Potential Brazeau County Drayton Valley Joint Reception for members of the provincial government, May 8th or May 12th. I'm not sure about this one here. We put this one on here. Potential Brazeau County, is this, we're going to just create a joint reception?
So, Reeve, possibly Councillor Gunderson could speak somewhat to this, but it originated out of a conversation between members of either council about a strategy to more directly engage ministers. And this was an event that the town has set up that they're inviting us to and asking what dates would work for us. And so it would be a focused evening with a couple of senior provincial government officials where we could engage with them one-on-one over more than just a 15 or 30-minute meeting. This would be over 2.5 hours.
So would we do, like we did one, at Leduc number 1, we did kind of like a Dragon's Den sort of thing, except was, we talked about what we had as a value in the county. And so is that kind of what we'd be doing, is kind of like a Dragon's Den? And, you know, we'd put forth a pitch on what Brazeau County has to offer, what sort of things we're looking at, and what sort of things they could help us with, without always just in their face asking for stuff.
Certainly, it's just, I guess at face value, it's an opportunity to build stronger relationships with specific ministers within the cabinet and letting them know what it is that we do and how they can help us do what we do better.
Yeah, because it'd be nice to have them on a tour of some of the lagoons, like Cynthia and Violet Grove, and talk about the things that are going on or could be going on, like the Rocky Rapids Internet. So is that where we're going, or is it something we're talking about at TIA? Just a request by the town.
We talked about this, I don't remember it now for some reason, but I think the idea is just to have a meeting with whatever ministers could show up and bring up some ideas, you know, discuss, and yeah, why not show them what we are doing in our community at the same time. I don't think there'd be time for a tour, but it'll be an evening event and just a couple of hours slotted out to, so it makes it worth the minister's time to come and see both of us at the same time too, right? So there's value on both sides.
Okay. Anthony?
I think the town's done this a little bit more than we have in the past already. I remember different times they had ministers out, sometimes 2 of them even. And I think this would be an occasion where they're including us to be part of that discussion with the ministers they have out coming out. So I think it would be worthwhile to at least authorize council's attendance. But we need to pick a date, as what Rudy, I think, is at least what I'm looking at, what's on the agenda. They're offering 2 dates. We need to see if one of those dates works, Rudy?
Yes. And just to note, this location would be in Edmonton. It would be hosted through Alberta Council at their facility, I believe. But it would be in Edmonton.
So we don't have a chance to show them?
Nope.
So we could have we could have a slide deck or something with,
Yeah, we could possibly look at that, yep.
because we don't want to just go there and have lunch. We want to be productive somehow. Get some value out of the meeting, just for them and us. All right, so we need a motion to authorize counselors to attend this function with the provincial government.
Both days. They're like, oh my gosh, my May is actually, like, first couple weeks in May is fairly flexible at the moment. So the sooner we can nail down the date, the better. But both dates work. Both work dates. Both work. I didn't
Any
say
s-
that out loud. I just changed myself.
You're saying, well, we've got council on the 6th, but other than that, I don't have anything logged in here, at least on my phone. So you'll just have to guess, Tina. You're gonna have to guess what the date is going to be, because it's not just us that decides, it's Drayton Valley.
They're asking for a suggestion and also for funding, so I just need a motion that both of those dates are good and that you're willing to cover the cost.
Half the cost.
Okay. Glenn?
I move to authorize council's attendance to a Brazeau County and Drayton Valley joint reception for members of the provincial government, May 8th, in Edmonton, Alberta, and jointly fund the project.
Discussion, all those in favor? Carried unanimous. Rural Wealth Creation in Drayton Valley Workshop, May 5th. This is maybe appropriate, we have this before we meet with the ministers.
What should be 65, 66?
Glenn?
I move to authorize council's attendance to a rural wealth creation event in Drayton Valley at May 5th, 8 o'clock p.m. at the Clean Energy Technology Center. 5 to 8, 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock p.m. Oh, okay, the sheet here says Clean Energy. Oh, it does, sorry. I'm sorry. So it says Tuesday, April 22nd, 6:30 p.m. at the Nodding Donkey Brewery.
What are you looking at?
The next page, page 66. So that's altogether different. No, wait, April, okay, so,
Okay, go-
Are you still crafting it? You can still craft it.
I don't know, I'm lost.
It's yours.
I think there's
Let's help me.
oh, you guys. So we've got May, is what I'm looking at on 65 not the meeting that we're talking about? It says May 5th at 5. At the CETC. That's Rural Wealth Creation. I don't know what this other stuff is.
I believe there's
There's 2 dates. Well, okay, so then authorize council to attend the May 5th at 5 PM workshop. Kara?
Sure. I was just looking at my calendar and I'm open that day too. I'm really gonna jinx myself. I move to authorize council's attendance at the World Wealth Creation Workshop, May 5th, at the CT Center.
Discussion, all those in favor? Carried unanimous. Glenn? Donna? You don't have any FOIP issues to deal with today? Motion to adjourn. Oh, right, we've got ratepayers issues. All right, so it's 11 o'clock or 5 after right now. We're a little late. We had quite a speedy meeting, so that's good for our ratepayers. But this is an opportunity for ratepayers to bring forth ideas, and I always ask for solutions, irrespectful of staff and the elected officials, and the floor is open. Oh, it's one of those. Go
Hello,
ahead.
Council.
State your name for,
Cody Brooks, Councillor Emeritus. Chancellor Emeritus? I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know if everybody got an email of my letter, but it was a pleasure to serve with you all over the last 3.5 years. I'd like to thank you all for the experiences. I would like to thank the administration for the invaluable support that they provided, and the members of the public for entrusting me with the stewardship of the county on their behalf. There's one project that I would have liked to have been around for, and I'm sure you guys are going to take care of it, but because I'm not going to be around, I figured I'd bring it up now. And it's regarding our utility infrastructure in our hamlets and in River Ravine specifically, our compact country residential. Council has approved the creation of a utilities master plan that, once completed, will give council and administration a good base of information to budget for the eventual replacement of that infrastructure. My hope is that utility infrastructure replacement will become an item budgeted for annually so that we aren't surprised and caught flat-footed. And I think for those of us that were there at RMA, there was a fellow who came up, I can't remember which county he was from, but he came asking the premier for money to replace the infrastructure under their hamlets. And he was talking about in one of their hamlets, they had an $11 million replacement cost that was coming up. It was kind of an embarrassing moment when the premier asked him what their budget was, what their bottom line was, and he didn't know the answer, and his council didn't know the answer, and they were kind of the worst case example, right? They were not prepared for the eventual bill that comes with everything, right? Everything needs to be replaced one day. Every road we build, every mile of pavement, every water treatment plant, and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to bring that concern, and I'm sure you guys will take care of it, but that's that, I guess. Talk to you, Council. All right. Take care. Just kidding.
Thanks again for your service, Cody. All right. So, go ahead, Kara.
Just maybe a miss, but we do have that, there's a webinar that I signed up for through Alberta Council on Bill 50 from noon to 1.
Great.
Should I make a motion to add it to the agenda and then approve a council's attendance?
Sure.
Okay, I move to add item, I guess it would be 33 now, or 32C to the agenda, Alberta Council Bill 50 review.
Discussion, all those in favor? The second motion,
I move to approve council's attendance to the Alberta Council's Bill 50 review today from noon till 1.
discussion, all those in favor? Carried unanimous.
I move
11.
adjournment?
Well, can we do adjournment?
Yeah, for a time? That's, I move to adjourn.
Okay, discussion, all those in favor? You had me guessing there.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 11.